Hi, welcome to Pai Love Story. I'm your host, Lilia. I live in Pai, a magical little town in northern Thailand where every day feels like a festival and every connection feels a little bit distant. This podcast is about the love stories that happen here, the short ones, the forever ones, the ones that break you open. Because something about Pai changes people, and love here is never ordinary. Welcome to this Pai Love Story podcast. This is my first very episode, and I have someone very special. And I think he's the best person to be on my first episode. I'm so glad. I was just bumping into him last night at Paradise, and we had an amazing conversation about love, about what we are doing, what we want to help, So without further ado, welcome Jack.
Hi.
Jack, can you talk to us about yourself a little bit?
Yeah.
And what is your Pai story? What brings you here?
Wow, there's so much. Okay, so hey everyone, my name is Jack. I'm from a little town in the south of England called Portsmouth. It's a little outside of London by about 1 hour. A bit about me. I am what I'd consider, I don't like the term, but a digital nomad, like we all are these days, we're all chasing life and freedom.
Yeah, I like to call myself home free.
Home free, yes. I'm home free, working towards a dream of financial freedom, right? To be able to move around this world and to live my life the way I want to live it.
Yeah.
And not be confined and constricted to what society tells me to do, right?
Like, fuck the system.
Like, fuck the system. Yeah, I'm a bit of a rebel. I grew up as a bit of a rebel, like rebel mindset. Like, always knew from a young age that I was very different in a way that, I didn't believe in all of the systems and stuff. But, so yeah, I'm Jack. I'm 32 years old. I'm a transformational coach from the UK. And I work predominantly with men. Predominantly with men. And a lot of my focus for the last few years has been working with men to become better men. To become better men and to turn up for themselves and the people around them, the women around them, their families, their kids. To be a better son, to be a better brother, to be a better father, to be a better boyfriend, to be a better fuck buddy, Like, we all, I feel like we all have our duties, and I feel like for men we have a big duty on this planet, as much as women do as well. We have our own what we need to bring, and I feel like a lot of men could just use a hand with that and a little help with that to understand themselves better and to not cause so much chaos. And I'm sure there'll be many women listening to this that will sit here and be like, yeah, I've been fucked over by a man. And there'll be loads of women and loads of men sitting here being like, yep, I did some fucked up shit and been fucked over by women. So it's about understanding ourselves better and being able to communicate that through relationships and being able to alchemize everything that we feel inside so that we don't project it outwards and cause shit for other people.
You know what I'm going to do after this show? I'm going to send your fucking Instagram link, profile link to all the boys I dated before. I said, go to talk to this guy.
Yeah, I have to do outreach. I have to sometimes reach out to people and be like, hey, how's things going in your life? How's it going? So if there's anyone out there that really wants to learn how to integrate their own lessons and to work through some of the experiences they've had to really take the lessons and be able to integrate them into their life now so that they don't make the same mistakes, because as we know, patterns reappear and patterns replay constantly. So men, if you're out there and you're replaying the same fucking pattern over and over again and you're wondering why nothing is changing, it's not because of the women you are choosing, okay? It is because you have the work to do yourself, my friend.
I myself am guilty of that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's my partner's fault or anything now, because I worked on myself. I know, I have
we all
my
have a
own
duty.
patterns.
Yes, we all have a duty to recognize our patterns and to recognize where we can be better. So my focus for the last few years has been doing that. And I've had a big, long journey myself. Background, a bit about me. Around 5 years ago, I was in a very, very dark place. I was on antidepressants. I was having suicidal thoughts. I was taking cocaine a lot of the time, and I was running from my problems, and I was looking for a way out, you know? And my way out was to go inside and to go inwards, which created so much more space in my life to understand who I am and why I do the things I do. And now I have the beauty of being able to work with people and see people go on that same journey that I went on, which is super challenging. And it always triggers me because it always reminds me of shit, I used to do that. I used to do that. I used to go and cheat on my girlfriends, and I used to lie, and I used to manipulate, and I used to, all the things we do. But, and the thing is over that period of time, I've released a lot of shame around the things that I've done. And I now try to guide people through the same kind of work, which is, releasing shame and understanding that we all change and we all grow, and things aren't always going to be that way if you're willing to look inside.
Kudos to that. Okay, since the title for this podcast is Pai Love Story, so I need to drag you back.
Yes, sorry.
What is your relationship, or what brings you to
Pai?
Yeah, Pai Land.
Okay, so
Pai Land.
Pai Land, yeah. So I was working with a mentor. Shout out to Dan Constable, another inspirational, highly amazing men's coach. I was working with him a few years ago, and we were at a pivotal point where I realized that I wanted to travel and I wanted to experience the world, and I felt like I was ready within myself to do that. So he advised me to follow my dream. He pushed me to book my flight to go to Thailand, and he told me that he found this little community in the northern mountains of Thailand called Pai. It was like a mystical wizard telling me, go to Pai, young boy. If you'll find yourself in Pai,
I love that.
So I went to Thailand and I started to travel, and with the whole time I had in my mind of going to Pai to see what Dan was talking about. And he said that it changed his life when he was here. He was here for 2.5 years, which is funny because I'm just coming up for 2.5 years as well, and I'm due to leave soon. But yeah, that was how I found Pai. I was told to come here, and I remember the first time that I stayed here, the first day, I stayed at a really outside of town, and I got a scooter, and I was driving into town on my scooter, and I had this huge sense of this huge feeling of belonging, like home, like it was like Pai was welcoming me for the first time. And I didn't even speak to anyone or see any of the bars or anything. I was just driving, and I was like, wait, why do I feel like I've been here for 10 years already? And one month turned into 2 months, turned into 3 months, and then I was here for, I think 7 months or 8 months the first time, and I've been coming back for 3 seasons now. So yeah, that's how I found Pai and fell in love with it. Yeah, fell in love with her, actually. Yeah, with her. She's yeah. I was in her Pai hole, yes, maybe. Yeah, she welcomed me into her Pai hole.
Thank you for
she's a beautiful feminine energy here in Pai. Yeah.
Almost like a mother ayahuasca.
Yeah, initiation. Yeah.
Amazing. So, okay, now we are going to talk a little bit about your love affairs. You ready for that?
Sure.
Yeah. So, the reason I started this podcast,
the juicy stuff.
Yeah, the juicy stuff.
The tea.
I want to hear all
Give us the
juicy
tea.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Just like before this show started, we were just having this conversation that we don't want to go surface level.
Yes.
Like conversation now. So in this podcast, you're going to hear our suffering, our pain, our growth, our happiness, So yeah, tell us about your love affair. Do you have some significance? You said that you had a few situationship when you got here.
Yes.
How was that?
So I'll give you a bit of background on myself. So being from the UK, the culture is very, very different. It's we grow up in a society where we believe that we have one person and we get married and we have kids and we settle down and we live our happily little fairy tale lives that I grew up as a kid believing, watching my parents be together for 30 years, that was normal. That was what everyone should do. So what did I do? I had partners. I had long-term partners. So one of 5 years, one of 7 years. One I was actually engaged in. Yes, mic drop. Your face has gone. Oh. Yeah, I was engaged. And I got engaged at the time. We were going through a very difficult time, and I ended up getting engaged for the completely wrong reasons, which I now know. But the point I'm trying to make is that I was someone that came from very long relationships. So when I came to Pai, I felt this very sense of freedom, and I was single when I came to Pai. I hadn't had a relationship for maybe 2 years.
Only spiders.
I had been, single for 2 years before I came here because I'd been working on myself. And when I came to Pai, I really felt like I was in a position to explore a little more. Now, I didn't really want to be in a relationship at the time, so I was happy just to be open, to explore and to have adventure and to get to know people and see where that led me. And for the first season that I was here, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. I met people that I've never met before, different personalities. People in Pai express themselves very freely, which is beautiful because you get to really see the essence of somebody. And I feel like for the first season I was here, I met some very amazing, beautiful women, which I was able to have this open experience with, where there was no expectation and it was very clear in my intentions to just have fun, right? And I was met with an understanding of that, to just have fun, which was great. So yeah, I think at that time as well, I was learning the differences it may be between having real connection and maybe seeking validation, can I say? And that's been a journey in itself. But definitely, yeah, I dated some amazing women, like some yoga teachers, some dancers, some actors, some important people from different countries. And yeah, it was amazing. I feel like in Pai you can get wrapped up in this kind of like, traveling, free-spirited kind of flowy kind of relationships. And yeah, it was super, super fun. Hard to control at times, I'll be honest, because there's so many amazing people that you can connect with on such a deep level very quickly. And it is sometimes hard to keep that contained to one person. So I was definitely exploring and definitely having a lot of fun and having, some great times. And some also challenging times,
Yeah.
Some also challenging times.
The specific challenges.
Well, I think when you're open and you're very much like expressing yourself in your full expression, that can be triggering for some people because they aren't used to having someone that is so open and honest to be like, hey, like, I really value this that we have, but I also value something else. I also value spending time with someone else. And these kinds of things can really bring up a lot in people, especially when they're wanting to be open or they're wanting to be very free and carefree, but actually these insecurities come up and these stuff comes up,
Right.
So you have to talk your way through that, and some people aren't ready to do that. So obviously you can only meet someone where you're at or where they're at. And sometimes there's been situations where I've not been in the place that the other person is, and then they haven't been in a place where it's been so comfortable for me. So we've had to have distance, and now some of those friends live in Pai still, and they're dating some of my other friends, which is amazing. I was traveling with a friend of mine last year or the year before for 3 months. So we had a beautiful connection, and it was super amazing and romantic and lustful, and it was amazing. But then we had some time apart for 6 months or 4 or 5 months, and we realized there was this kind of like disconnect, and we had to work through that.
Right.
And then she came back, and now she's with one of my beautiful friends, and I'm super happy for them. And yeah,
lovely.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. I would say that I experienced that struggle as well. Struggle is real.
Yeah, struggle is real.
But I believe like if it's not okay, it's not the end.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be fine in the end.
Yes.
With my mother, But tell us about this like one significant love story that you have.
One significant love story here in Pai.
Yeah, here in Pai, like
my most significant one is my partner now.
Yeah. Okay, tell us about it.
Okay.
Like,
so
how did you meet her? And then
so it's very interesting
juicy
because
stuff.
yeah, Nadine, shout out to Nadine, I love you, baby. So last year I was here and I was at Atlas Valley, the hostel, from not too far from where we're sat right now. And one of my friends, again, at the time, came in with his partner at the time, which was Nadine.
Ooh.
Yeah. And she knows this, and I always remember when I first met her, me feeling this kind of like sense of like, wow, who is this woman? You know, like, who is this kind of woman? But obviously she was dating my friend, so it was very respectful. I never approached in that way, and we met a few times during that season. Once was at a festival, and we were kind of at the festival with the same people, and we started to talk more, and we just became very good friends. And then obviously that was last year, and then in October last year, whole nother story for a whole nother podcast, but I went to prison in Malaysia.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I went to prison in Malaysia. Yeah, it's a whole different podcast in general.
Okay.
Maybe if you guys want to go and listen, I have a podcast on this. You can go and I'll plug my podcast at the end. I'll plug it at the end, but you can go listen to that. And so basically, when I went through that ordeal, which was very difficult, I went back home to the UK. I got deported back home to the UK.
That was just last year.
That was last year.
That was like how many months ago? 4 months ago?
No, the year before.
The year before.
So
right?
yeah, 2024. Yeah. So yeah, got home from that in January back in the UK, and Nadine reached out to me and was the first kind of person to really reach out and try to connect and be there for me. And we built an amazing friendship. And over like 3 or 4 months, me being in the UK and her being in Thailand and being in India and her being back in the Netherlands, we started to talk every day. And then we started to call 4 or 5 times a day for hours at times. And we fell in love over the phone. Like, we fell in love connecting every single day, FaceTiming each other every single day, to the point where when I left to go to India last year, she rang me and was like, I'm coming to India. And I was like, okay. So she came to India, and we've been together like physically ever since, which has been 7 or 8 months now.
Wow.
So, and it is amazing how much we've grown and how much we've experienced in that time. But yeah, you can fall in love over the phone for sure. It doesn't need to be physical. Like, it doesn't need to be, you know. But yeah, that was how we met.
In Pai.
Pai, yeah, literally.
So that was the purely platonic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then you developed your relationship over the internet.
Yes.
And then now you are in India.
Yes, she's in India now.
She's in India.
She's in India. She's been there for 3 weeks, and I'm going to see her next week.
Nice.
So yeah, I can't wait for that. But it's been challenging having time apart, but it's been super rewarding as well.
Okay. Wow, we want some juicy stuff.
Yeah. What juice do you want?
Yeah.
What juicy stuff?
Okay, so I would say that you kind of connected like emotionally, and then when you are like face to face with that kind of like a fire.
Wow, it was like she'll laugh when she hears this, because when we first started to organize her coming to India, before she came, we were kind of a bit like wonder what it would be like, because we've been talking every single day and we have this like connection on the phone, but we were interested to see how that would like physically how that would transpire, how it would grow and how it would be. So there was this kind of anxiety, like little anxious, nervous kind of like to see what would happen. I was always I kind of already knew what was going to happen, you know, like I knew it was going to be there straight away. And the funny thing is we agreed that we wouldn't do anything when we first came together, that we wouldn't even kiss, that we would spend the time to really feel what was there between us physically.
What?
The moment she got off the bus and I saw her, I remember sitting in the taxi with her to going back to where we were staying, which is like an hour away. And the whole way back,
you couldn't contain yourself.
I couldn't contain myself. I was holding her hand and I was like, we were just like touching and like just grabbing each other like, wow, this is real, you know? And then it was funny because we started to go out on like little dates in the evening and we spent time together, and this energy was growing and growing, getting more and more intense, to the point where we would say goodnight to each other and we'd be like, okay, good night, and we kind of hug, and then there would be like this moment of like, okay, we both know what wants to happen right now, but we kind of like put it on hold, and we were both kind of like, no, we're gonna wait, kind of thing. That lasted, I think, a week.
Like
I think it was maybe a week. She'll maybe go, it was 2 days, but no, like I think it was like, it felt like a week. I want to say a week.
A week of torture.
A week of like like of really like putting ourselves in this moment, right? And then yeah, like when we first were intimate, like wow, you know,
fireworks,
like literally like a huge nuclear bomb going off inside of all of us. But it was like, yeah, it was super intense, and yeah, we still have that intensity now, which is like, you know,
amazing.
I know.
Did you guys like all came back to Pai after India?
So India, we went to India, yeah, then we came here. Yeah, so we went from India to Koh Phangan for my birthday in July last year, and then we have been in Pai since July last year. Yeah, end of July. So yeah, a few months now.
Wow. All right, that sounds juicy enough. Okay, so where is your favorite hangout?
Favorite hangout? There's a few, like, especially for me and her, we hang out in our bed a lot. Like,
where is it located?
We hang out in the bed, like, whenever we come. We both are quite busy during the day. We're both working very hard. But in the evenings, yeah, we go and do things. But our main hangout spot is definitely under the sheets, you know, like in the bed, and we like to have snacks, and we watch funny documentaries together, and we watch funny TV series sometimes. But yeah, outside of Pai, outside of the boudoir, the boudoir, outside of the boudoir, there's many places. We love a sunset. We love going into nature for walks and stuff. There's some really nice spots here to walk up the river and sit in nature and listen to the sounds and swim in the river. But yeah, hangout spot. There's a really nice place in Pai called Hula Hula.
Hula Hula.
Yes, it's one of the sunset spots, but it's up on the mountain, about 10 to 15 minutes away from here, and it has the best view, I think, of Pai sunset. And it's really high up. They have really cool hammocks and cool seating with amazing food. So, but don't tell anyone. Like, don't tell too many people. Like, the people that are listening to this podcast, that's for you, okay? Like, don't spread that so far. Yeah. As someone that's been here for a long time, you know, that's an inside scoop.
Podcast episode is not sponsored by Hula Hula.
Yeah.
Hula.
Yeah. So that's my favorite hangout spot.
That's so cool. Yeah. Wow. Amazing. I love learning all these like small details about Pai as well, like which I've never been to Hula Hula. Going there right away. Okay. So my questions. Struggles.
Ooh.
You know.
Yes, struggles.
What are the biggest challenge
of Pai?
Relationship in Pai.
Relationships in Pai. Okay.
Tell us.
I think there's many sides to Pai, but there's definitely a side that is very much people are on the journey, people are on their self-discovery journey, people are into spirituality, and different people have different levels of that. right? Everyone's on their own journey, but we're at different points on that journey. And sometimes coming together with someone who is maybe further along or is not so far along in terms of their own self-development can bring a certain level of confusion, and sometimes it's hard to relate because we all come from different backgrounds and have different stories, and we have different triggers, we have different insecurities, which some people are ready to face and some people aren't. So when someone's met with someone that is wanting to share and is wanting to be vulnerable and open, and maybe the other person isn't so, receptive to that, it can be very, very difficult.
Yeah, I think you also touch on that a little bit.
It can be very difficult. Yeah. And of course, Pai is a very open place, a very free-spirited place. And yeah, there's lots of people around all the time, so people have friends and people have multiple partners. There's and that can cause obviously more frictions and complications than if you were just having one partner. And even friends, people bond so deeply here that sharing is very common, and in my country, maybe it's not so common for two friends to meet and to really have a deep conversation. It's not so openly spoke about. So when friends do that, there can be opinions, there can be expectations, there can be all these kinds of things. So I feel like you have to have a very good grip on, how you share and how you communicate and stuff like that. And obviously in Pai here, it is a big place, but it's also a small place.
Yeah.
So when you've been here a while, people know everyone, people know you, and more or less, if you've slept with someone, maybe they've slept with one of your friends,
Yeah.
maybe they're still fucking one of your friends, or
Condom, please.
Yeah. Be safe, gentlemen. Be safe.
All the girls, watch out.
Yeah. So yeah, that can definitely throw up a lot of spanners in the works. I think for me and my partner now, the complication sometimes we have is that we're very independent, we're very driven in our own lane, shall we say. And sometimes making time for each other and prioritizing each other can sometimes, be hard because we're both so driven to succeed and both driven to do the things we really want to, the change we want to bring to this world. And actually we're starting something together soon, which I'm super, super excited about, a little joint project. But yeah, it can be tough when you're really driven. In some relationships, people get lost in the relationship, and they forget their business, they forget who they are, they forget that they have passions and dreams, and all they want to do is they just want to be there for their partner and love and care for their partner, which is beautiful. But we often sometimes lose ourselves in those situations. So it's easy to do that, and we try not to do that. But yeah, relationships can be hard.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone.
So our audience loves stories. Can you give us one story that really struggled you and
really struggled me?
How you overcome it?
In my life or in Pai?
In the Pai Love Story.
In the Pai Love Story. One situation that I overcame. I'll be honest, I haven't really had anything that has really, really struggled me. The struggles I've had in Pai, especially love stories, I guess have been the fact that a lot of when I'm in Pai, I seem to work through a lot of my own shadow stuff. Hence the name The Shadow Gentleman on Instagram. But I work through a lot of shadow stuff, and that has been triggered through relationships, through having friends, through having people that I just sleep with, through having people that I'm building deeper connections with, And of course, when we get invested in partnerships or relationships, we build attachment and we build a sense of self, and we say, you shouldn't do that because you're supposed to care for me, and you wouldn't do this if you do, like these kinds of things, when actually it's just our own insecurities, and we project them outwards to other people, but they get triggered by other people, So I feel like it's all been wrapped into one. I can't name one kind of point, but there's definitely been a few situations where it's been hard to take some things, and I've realized some things about myself which is hard to really acknowledge and take accountability for. But yeah, there's been many situations. There's been many. I can't pinpoint one, but it's been difficult at times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Difficult at times.
So how do you process all these like difficult emotions?
I sit and I let them be there, and I do not push and I do not force myself to work out where it's coming from. I try to just be with the emotion. Energy is it. Energy in motion, emotion. You know.
Right.
So we have to move. We have to move the body, and we have to allow it to be there for the body to work out what is going on. And we know the answers. It's just a matter of time if we can regulate ourselves and keep ourselves in a good regulated space, that we will know the answers and we will work through it and come to our own conclusions. So yeah, that's how I tend to do it, is sit. And if I need to have conversations, then I do. I journal sometimes. I used to journal a lot more than I do now. I actually use like a note app on my phone, which I find personally easier for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, writing down some things and just trying to sit with a lot of the emotions and not try to change them as well. Some of the times we don't need to know. If I'm angry and I'm frustrated and I can't sit still, I don't need to know why. I just need to know that that's the case, and I just let it be there, and I just try to move and try to allow it to move, rather than to try and constantly come up with questions and answers of why do I do that? Why do I do this? I did that for a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow,
move your body.
Move your body.
Move your body. Come on, move your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And was that a breakup in your relationship?
Was there a breakup? What, in Pi?
Yeah.
Through some of the other yeah, there was, and it wasn't so much a breakup because I didn't see us actually in a partnership. We were kind of just seeing each other and kind of having sex and whatever. And there were a few times, and I'll actually openly admit this, there was a few times where things maybe were going to the next level and maybe I was not quite ready for that, and I was maybe pushing that away.
Yeah.
I lean slightly on the avoidant side of attachment, so having connection sometimes especially can be a bit like, oh, it's too much, like this requires too much of me, and I don't like giving up so much of me because I like my freedom, and you know, I need to be free. So yeah, there was a few situations where there were some women that wanted to take things further and I didn't, and I felt this sense of pressure, and I maybe cut things off, or I maybe took myself out of it. So yeah, and now the relationship I'm in now, I'm fully in, and I'm fully feeling, I'm fully showing up in that. Whereas, you know, yeah, it took some time to get there, but
right person, right time.
Right person, right time. And I heard a quote, actually, someone said that men fall in love, right? We fall in love and we meet the woman that we marry and the woman that we spend the rest of our life with when we're ready, right? And it's like, it's so true, because I feel like the women that come into our lives when we are ready, and it's not about sometimes us getting to that point, but us being at that ready point, and then this woman coming along, and then it being the, you know, the one, should we say, or the one that we have like this very deep connection to, because we're ready to do it, and then we're met with someone that's on the same level as us, and that's when that's when the magic happens, and the horniness happens, you know, like, and everything, the horniness, everything, the passion, the lust, the romance, the you know, that, yes, everything, like, and it comes so quickly, and excuse the pun, like it comes very quickly, and it's in your face, you know, like it can really yeah, okay, it really hits you in the face, you know, and you have to learn quickly, but it's beautiful. And yeah. Next question.
Juicy, definitely juicy. All right. Wow. I'm getting hot.
Can we get a fan? There's a fan there. Can we get a fan for her, please?
Yeah, it's so nice to hear from your perspective, because I often wonder how did that happen. You know, I remember like younger me used to Google this kind of question: how do I know that he loves me?
Yes, yes.
Or how do I make him fall in love?
Yes.
Yeah, but now like ladies, if you're listening to this one, you would know, like, yeah, it's just they have to be ready.
Yeah.
The first question you ask during the day is like, "Are you ready to?"
Yeah, but yeah, like lead with like this is the thing. Lead with this, like this, because let's be honest, like we're not here to waste time, you know, like
life is short.
And this is the thing, and I can imagine as all of us, we've all had situations where we've got into a situationship or a relationship, and we've then been hit in the face with a roadblock, and we're like, of course, I overlooked every single fucking red flag that I could. And of course, I became puppy love and I became love drunk and I didn't see these things, you know? And this is the thing is love can blind you, can really blind you and lead you into some really dark places from a place of love, actually. That we love so deeply that actually we start to blind ourselves and we start to go against some of the things that we stand for. And I think it's very important that when we meet people that we give them the, you know, do you want to have kids? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? What's your dream? What's your 5-year plan? You know, what do you want? You know? Yeah, like this kind of surface level kind of stuff. We were just saying before the podcast, right? Like we don't do surface level. I find it really hard to do that. I want to know I want to see you. I want to feel what you're about, you know? And I can't get that with like surface level kind of stuff, you know?
Amazing. Yeah.
Surely.
All right, so here comes the lightning round.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so like I'm going to start this round of questions, and then Jack has to answer under 1 minute. Okay. One activity that you recommend to do
in Pai,
along with a couple.
Oh, there's a few really good ones. The sunset spots are really, really nice. Two Huts is great for the sunset. There is some really nice viewpoints. I love nature, so I love sunsets and stuff like that. If you're into partying and stuff, there's for sure some of that here in Pai. You can float down the river on a tube. Yeah, tipsy tubing. I mean, I'm sure many people have heard about it. Yeah, you float down a river on a tube and stop at parties. Some amazing spaces, some really cool hot springs. The hot springs resort in Pai is amazing. It has an amazing hot spring and pool. Yeah, Pai is incredible. So many nice places, great food. Yeah.
Okay. One resource or a book that you recommend to our listeners.
One of the most powerful books that I ever read was The Power of Now. The Power of Now.
I love that.
Is a great book. Can't remember the guy's Eckhart.
Eckhart Tolle.
Yes, I think it's by him. Yes. Power of Now. The other book is The Secret. Yeah, two very kind of commercial books now, but you know,
Oprah.
Yeah, they're really nice books. Easy to read, and The Secret is one I've read a few times that actually changes every time I read it, which is super nice because The Secret kind of meets you where you're at. So it's kind of a story, but it also meets you at the place that you're ready to understand based on your knowledge and based on your knowledge of the universe and how you understand yourself.
Right.
So that book can be read over and over again, and each time it's going to give you more knowledge. It's going to give you more secrets that you're ready to understand and see. So yeah.
I recommended that to my listeners as well. It's just literally changed my life. Before I read that book, I had seen myself using a lot of like strategies or a lot of methods from that book already. And then that's how I also meet my ex-husband, you know, when I was like reading that book.
Ex-husband. How does that, quickly, sorry to go off time. How does that feel when you say that? How do you feel something in your body?
Loving, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
There's always a reason that why they become ex, right?
Yeah, there is. Yeah. That's
but anyways,
true.
I'm super grateful for that experience.
Yes.
Yeah, and the listener will listen to my story. Will hear about my stories later on, maybe. But anyways, yeah. So ex-husband, I wrote a list of like qualities I want to see in a man, and then he showed up. Yeah,
because it's in your vision, right? The minute you start to get very clear, and this is like a good thing for anyone looking for a relationship right now. Is you attract the people that you get clear in your mind because you're thinking about it and you know what you want, and that person will come because you're very focused.
Right.
If you don't know that, then
it's easy to spot them.
Yes.
Among so many cute
Yes.
boys.
Yeah.
Especially if
Or
I'm
girls.
so
Yeah.
distracted. I'd be like, oh, Jack is cute. Oh, he's cute. Danny is cute. Oh my God, I'm so distracted.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to rewrite that
Mm.
list
Yes.
after our podcast.
Straight after. Straight after. No hesitation.
Go over more than 1 minute now. One takeaway on love in Pai Love.
One takeaway of love. Oh. One takeaway from love. I really think that a place like this is so open and so free that everyone's kind of expressing themselves in the way they want. So I feel like boundaries is a very important one, because without having some sense of self boundaries, you can get very lost, and people are very open and will come to you and shower you with affection and shower you with love and touches and everything, right? And sometimes if you don't have your boundaries set, that you can actually get lost in that. And not to mention, you know, the kind of fucked up stuff and the kind of stuff that people can sometimes do if they don't have boundaries, you know, and they like to push people's boundaries. And I feel like it's really important in a place that's so open and free that you do have self boundaries. I've learned a lot about that, you know, about
one of your best boundary.
One of my best boundaries
to practice.
I'm very much one of, if I don't feel comfortable around you, right? It's nothing personal, but I will remove myself from the situation. I will not sit. No, but it's actually opposite, because it's like I'm actually taking ownership of the fact that I don't feel comfortable around you. So therefore, I'm going to remove myself from the situation. And sometimes there's been situations where I've had to do that, where I've literally been talking to someone and I'm feeling a little bit like, okay, I'm really not feeling this, or I feel that I don't like the way you're speaking to me, or I don't like the tone you're speaking to me. And I'll just be like,
oh, really?
See ya. Like,
see ya. Talk to my hand.
Yeah, goodbye. Bye, bitch. You know? But no, like that's a boundary for me, is like, I don't put myself, unless I'm willingly putting myself in uncomfortable situations to grow, or something I'm pushing, like I'm trying to grow through it. Yeah, one of my boundaries is like, don't talk to me like disrespectfully, treat me with, you know, kindness, and talk to me openly and with, you know, from a calm place. And I can sit and have a conversation with anyone about anything from that place. But if things like, you know, start to get angry or some tension or something like that, you know, and it's something that I feel like I'm not comfortable with, then I will just remove myself from the situation, you know? I have many boundaries, you know. Don't lie to me, you know, be honest, be open, you know, tell me how you're feeling. I don't care what it is you're feeling. If it's criticism towards me, you know, I really actually appreciate criticism. I'm all for people coming to me saying like, hey, Jack, you do this and this and it pisses me off. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to me and telling me. But doesn't mean that, you know, I have to lose my shit at you, you know? Like, I'll listen to what you say, but I really like when people do that. So it's one of my boundaries, you know? If you want to talk to me, come talk to me directly.
Yeah.
You know, don't talk behind my back. Don't talk to others. Just come to me and speak to me, you know? So boundaries in both ways. Yeah. Have your boundaries in check.
Like my boundary is like 1 minute.
Yes.
Does that go to
yes.
minutes?
Yes. Yeah.
But anyways, one magical moment that you had.
Oh, in Pai. I've had
with your loved one.
With my loved one. Ooh, there's been so many. We spent New Year's Eve recently together, and when it hit 12 o'clock, we spent that moment together.
In bed?
No, not in bed, actually. That, as nice as that would have been. No, the next day we were in bed all day, but we spent the moment together, and we saw that new year in together, and we had a conversation about how far we've come and how happy we are together and what we want for the future. And that was so special, because it really felt like we were aligned on that. And we had this beautiful conversation, and I really feel since then that we've taken so many steps towards that goal already. So there's been that moment. There's been so many beautiful moments. We were in Dreamscape, yeah. Shout out to Dreamscape, yes. Dreamscape, amazing place for circus people, flow arts training. Yeah, so there's been many different, nice times. We had a place we were staying at a few months ago that had its own little shala on the top of it, like a yoga shala, and we would do our practices there, and we'd have evenings up there with candles, and like we'd write and draw, and we just tried to do stuff like that. So there's been so many different, like, exciting, amazing times here in Pai. But yeah, now it's time to leave soon and to enjoy that somewhere else. But yeah,
exactly. Take that magic with you.
The magic.
Amazing. Oh wow! All right. So, what is your advice to our listeners, and tell us where we can connect with you?
Wow. Okay, so you can connect with me on Instagram, the shadow_gentleman, and on Facebook as well. The same, Jack Steed on Facebook. Also have a podcast on Spotify called Bridging Universes. We'll link it below. We're going through some big changes right now in terms of like the direction we're going in. There's something super exciting coming with me and my partner. For love in general, or love in Pai? I think love in general, right?
Yeah.
No. Oh God, it's so hard to put a message out. What can I say? What can I say? What can I say? I think for people that are looking for love and find themselves at a point where they're like, is it real? Does it really work out like this? Is there really a fairy tale ending? For a long time, I didn't believe in love. I didn't believe in fairy tales. I didn't believe in happy ever afters. I always thought it could always come to an end, for me, it always went wrong. And I always believed that I would never find someone that I could feel these things with. But I truly, truly believe that the more work we can do on ourselves, we attract these people into our lives, right? And if you're someone that's sitting there right now that is really feeling like they're unlucky in love and they really want to find their person, then finding your person is finding yourself, right? Going into yourself and to learn to love yourself. And there's a very interesting and very truthful saying of you can only love someone as much only love someone as much as you love yourself, right? And you need to love yourself first before you're ready to love anyone else. And it's so true, because if we don't learn to love ourselves first, it can get very messy, right? It can get very messy. And I think the more we love ourselves, the more that we can appreciate the other person when we do find that person.
I do have one follow-up question, though.
Yes.
What's the first step to love ourselves?
The first step to loving ourselves?
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people, take me for example. I thought like loving myself is like buying myself a spa treatment, taking myself to a nice restaurant, buying myself a luxurious bag, designer bag.
Yeah, I think for people that are feeling like they really want to start to learn to love themselves better, set an intention. Like, actually sit with yourself and say to yourself that you are going to put your time and effort for the next 6 months, the next 3 months, the next year, right? I mean, fuck it, go celibate, Don't fuck anyone.
Don't touch yourself.
Touch yourself, definitely.
Definitely touch your definition of celibacy. I think there is like some misconception, though.
Yes. I mean, you can touch yourself. Yeah, like if you're going on in a journey, for sure, you can touch yourself.
Find your own.
Play with yourself and find out what you like. Find out where you like to be touched. All of these kinds of things, right? Learn to love yourself, because again, when you come to having a partner, you can say to them, "Hey, I like being touched here, and I like doing this, and I like doing that." There's nothing more attractive, I think, than when for a man, or for anyone, I think, when someone comes to them and says, like, "Hey, this is what I like, can you do this more? Can you do that more?"
Yeah.
That again is getting to know ourselves. So I think setting an intention for yourself, right? I'm going to give it 3 months, 6 months. I'm not going to fool around. I'm not going to, give my attention outside of myself and really see what happens in those 3 to 6 months and see how far you go. Once you start doing that and you start loving yourself, trust me, those super powerful Mr. Rights and, are going to come into your life and whisk you away,
I love this. I think your quotes are going to be over my Instagram page.
Yeah.
I love this conversation so much. Thank you for coming to the show. So if you want to find out more about Jack, I will put all the links in our show notes. And see you on the flip side.
See you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Pai Love Story. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who once loved in Pai or someone who still believes in magic. Subscribe, leave a review, and follow along for more stories from the mountains. Until next time, stay open, stay wild, and let love find you.